Hi, welcome to Catholic Nest. So today I wanted to talk about Copywork and why we use it in our homeschool, and 5 things that I've really found fruitful from persevering with Copywork. So before we go on to those, I just wanted to show you some examples of some of the ways we've done Copywork over the years. We've probably done it for the last 5 years at least. And it's something that I try to start from as soon as they're able to actually copy something and able to form their letters. Even if it's just a couple of words or a sentence, I find it useful for a number of reasons. So I've tried all different kinds of copywork over the years, depending on their age and ability. So there's lots of copywork books that you can buy. I think Amazon does a lot, I'm sure eBay does, but there's also loads that you can print for free online. So you can get them at all different levels. So there's the ones where they read the sentences at the top and they have to write them below. Now, the easy peasy all-in-one homeschool, you can print them all off for free. So my 6-year-old at the time, she's now 7, was doing this before she moved on to her cottage press. So you get ones that come with different curriculums that you can use separately, that you can do line for line, so that they can literally copy the word above. And it's broken down. So this isn't long, so this is for quite a younger child or for a reluctant writer. And they literally just copy the word underneath, and there's even space here if they wanted to draw an illustration, which is a good motivator. They get to draw a picture as well. So sometimes I've done them on theme, like my 7-year-old last year, she did a little project on horses, so she did some horse copywork poems. And you can also buy them in different handwritings. So this is a cursive one I brought. So far none of the children have got on with cursive, so I've not pushed it, but they do come in all different handwritings. I know this series of reading lessons through literature, they do about 4 or 5 different styles of handwriting, so they're quite good. We've also, as I've shared before, used the lesson books a lot, which have an area of copywork here. So they could use it directly from a book, or you could write every other line and they copy line for line, depending on their ability. So there's also lots of curriculums that have copywork built in. And when they don't, I tend to add it. So at the moment, my 9-year-old's doing a poem and he gets to illustrate it. So that's been working really well for him, and his handwriting has come on in leaps and bounds. So it's already getting smaller. So he started off writing quite big and he couldn't fit it on, so he decided he was going to start writing smaller, and so his handwriting's improved as a result. So it's a huge bonus to Copywork. I've seen the same kind of progress with my 7-year-old, who was writing quite big. And because she was finding it hard to fit the copywork in the allotted space, today for the first time she's got fed up with squeezing it in, and her handwriting has shrunk by half and she's fitting it in much nicer, and she really enjoyed how that turned out. So it is, I do see, or have seen over the years, a huge improvement in handwriting as a result. So the 5 reasons we use Copywork. The first is handwriting. As I've shown some examples, I do find that it does improve handwriting and letter formation and grammar. So if as little as it is each day, or as long as it is depending on the age, it does seem to have an effect on that. The second is I find it easier to correct their handwriting errors with Copywork rather than something they've personally written, like a story where they've put effort into it, and it's more personal for them if you then start criticising their grammar and the way they formed their letters. Whereas with Copywork, it's impersonal, so I can say, do your letters from the top, remember to do this, and I can kind of pick at it a little bit more without them taking it personally. It just seems a bit kinder. The third reason is independence. It's something I can say, go and start your copywork, I'll be with you in a minute. So it's something they can do towards their own education and independence without you. And when you have a number of children as well, that's really useful. Which leads me on to the next point. The fourth thing is overlapping. So if you're managing a few children doing work at the same time, you can kind of stagger. You can have one doing copywork while you work with another one, and then they can switch. So they're not sitting there calling mum, mum, come and help me, because they've got something else they can do independently. And it helps them take a bit of control over part of their learning, and they can do that on their own. And the fifth point is for reluctant writers. So both the boys have been reluctant writers over the years, and I found it's a way that they can just kind of power through and do a bit of handwriting every day, improves their handwriting, which makes it easier for them, which makes them less reluctant to write, because they can see that it's turning out nicely, or they can see the improvements as they look back. And it's a little bit, however small, that they are just chipping away at making handwriting and writing a little bit easier. And it's something that you can really put into your routine so they get used to doing it. They might moan the first few times, but then as they know that they're going to do that every time, they can kind of just power through and get it done. So there's lots of pros to copywork, and if you are in a position where you do have to give evidence to local authorities or anything like that, then it is a really nice piece of evidence as well. So with the older ones, and sometimes with the younger ones, they do copywork from actual books. And some of the books we've used over time are the McGuffey's readers. They are short. These are really nice for reading as well, and for spelling. They have lists of words at the end. But they're nice. We used these with the lesson books for the older ones for copywork. So for really younger ones who are just starting to read, it's nice if they can copy something that they can read themselves as well, so they can understand what to illustrate. So I've sometimes used either a Biff and Chip or some little easy to read poems. This is a lovely book for copywork, a Charles Gardner Verses. I can't remember exactly where, but online there is a free printable copywork book of this whole book, which I've used before. So they're not terribly long, nice little poems. We use this one a lot for copywork, and sometimes I might just get them to do a longer poem over a few days, a couple of verses a day, so they do however much they could manage depending on their age. Books like this are quite nice as well, where they do one for every day of the year. So it's seasonal, kind of ties in with what's going on outside. None of them are terribly long. There's a few, but most of them are quite short. So they could pick the one for the day. Also helps them to be more aware of the date. So it's a nice, well, they could just choose one out themselves. There's loads of books. Poetry is our go-to for copywork, really, as it's so varied. It's a nice thing to include anyway. Gets them more used to reading poetry and writing it. So thank you for watching. That's the reasons that we do copywork, and I have found it very productive over the years, and which is why we carry on doing it. So I hope that's helpful, and thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing. Thank you very much.